just saying, it feels like it's been a long time since we've been, been around and talking basketball. But has it been a good time to just get a little bit of a break, refocus a little bit, and just work on a few things?
Yeah, most definitely. Coming back from Cairns, obviously, was a really good win up there on the buzzer after playing a couple of games in Launceston. So it does feel like a while since we've been at my state, but keen to get back here tomorrow night and get in front of our Hobart fans.
So what have players done in the break that weren't on international duty? What's been the conditioning to keep them, ready to go?
Yeah, we actually didn't have anyone on national duties or international duties. So we had everybody in at practice every day, and we had a good little break after the Cairns game, come back, a few days off, and then we cracked in, and I felt like we made some real progress over this period. But we had like 7 training sessions all up. We did a couple of different things, activities, but in general, we really try to improve our basketball, and we felt like we've come out the back end of that. A better basketball team, but we'll find out tomorrow night, obviously, with the Adelaide game.
How crucial a period is it, or was it, I suppose, in terms of being able to catch your breath a bit, have the whole squad, and just be able to sort of beaver away in quiet, so to speak, and get set for the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think it was good. Good for Mags to get a good training block underneath him as well. So he made an outstanding return to the game, but really with no legs, hadn't done a pre-season. So it was good for him from that standpoint. But we just felt like we needed, and it's been well documented, Scott's talked about it, improve our defensive system. We feel like we've made some strides in that. And as our defense goes up, like that continually challenges our offense, which we've done a good job of so far. But this is, we're getting to the middle part of the season where things are going to separate, and we have to continue to get better. And we felt like that 7 days of training has really helped us.
Any sort of change to the defensive scheme or the rotations or how it works, or is it more just consolidating sort of what you already have and know and making it better?
No, I think just consolidating. We believe in our system. It's been a system that's held us in good stead the first 2 years of our existence. But, we have a little bit of different personnel, and they bring some different strengths. And having Magne back in there just changes the way we defend. I think everybody's seen that so far. So everybody being able to get on the floor with him over a period of time and just create some synergy at both ends of the floor, is good for us. We've made a couple of tweaks, not major. That's some things that we feel like can enhance our system. But, to the naked eye, you're probably not going to notice that too much. We've just got to do a better job of just guarding the basketball. And I felt like we've done that. When you're at practice and Milt Doyle and Jordan Crawford and Sean McDonald are coming at you constantly, we keep those guys in front, we can keep anybody in front.
Did you come out pretty healthy from that little mini pre-season camp? Everyone is fit into the camp?
Yeah, definitely. We got a chance on the back end of the first week off to get a good conditioning block in as well. It actually hasn't been a lot of training sessions during the season because you have the back-to-back games, and then you come back from that, you have a day off or two to recover, and then you get a couple of sessions, and then you're back on the floor playing again. So it was a period also to get a little bit more conditioning in, and we come out of the whole 7 days really healthy.
What's the assessment for Mark for the first half? It feels like you've been on the road a lot more than probably you will be in the back half. Do you feel like you happy with where you're at the minute?
I wouldn't say happy. I don't know whether I've ever seen Scott happy. Have we? He's never happy. But I think that's the strength. He's never happy, but he's also, recognises the good things that we've done, and we celebrate that, in our film sessions and within the group. But 7 and 5 is, we're all chasing Melbourne right now. That's how I see it. Sydney's above us. We've got some teams right on our heels. It's an important part. It's a big month. There's 6 games in December. But I feel like we're improving, and that's the best part of our program right now. We feel like we've got improvement left in us, and we have improved.
I didn't want to talk about Jack too much, but obviously that shot against Kansas side, you feel like he's having I think he's going to stack up as the best they've been since he's come down here. You feel like he's having a really, really good season?
He had a really good year last year. I don't know. I think Jack overall is really improved his defence, and that's probably been understated, but it's been a focus for him. He's a lot more of a physical defender. He understands schemes really well now and can direct others. And I think that's the next phase of Jack McVeigh. He's worked really hard on his passing. He's confronted with more double teams now and guys helping out on him, and they take some things away from him, especially his 3-point shot. And I feel like he's grown in that space over this last 10 days as well. So he's having a great year. There's no doubt about that. But he's like he is the master of, I want to improve the real little things. And if you see him on a day-to-day basis, you'll recognise that.
I was going to ask, and sort of feeds into that, how much of that is driven by him wanting to get better from a personal standpoint, and how much is that driven by coaching staff and other players to get him to where he needs to be?
Yeah, I think it's with any athlete, and Jack personifies this as he's probably the most driven athlete within our club. Like, he's always looking for improvements. Doesn't matter whether it's a marginal 0.5% or something a little bigger over a longer term. He's always looking to improve, and I think that drives other guys and the coaches. We're here to support that. We're not, Jack McVeigh doesn't need motivating to want to improve, and he knows that the staff's always there to support him in whatever direction or thing. And we have good discussions. He really challenges your thinking. He thinks outside the box, Jack, which is great for our coaching staff, and he's always looking to improve.
Adelaide a few weeks ago up there, but nice to get back on home court against the 36ers tomorrow night.
Yeah, that was we got a good start in the game in Adelaide, but like we've watched a lot of tape on them, and even against New Zealand last night, they were down 20 plus, and then they got it back a couple of times to 6 or 7, and they did that in Adelaide too. They made runs at us, so they've got personnel that they're never out of it, but also on any given night, while you've got DJ Vasilovic in your team, we've been on the back end of some of his performances when he was with the Kings. So, they can come into any stadium and win on any given night. So, as I said, they're in the fight. They're in the hunt to try and get their season to the next stage and stay in that finals race at the back end of the year. And we're in the hunt to keep them away from us and try and grab those top two. So it's a massive game.
Do you see a lot of similarities with the 36ers and the way you play? You talk about that they're never out the game, something your boys pride yourself on. Is that something that you feel you're going to play a similar team to the way you play? Or do they do something a bit different?
Oh, they're probably a little bit different to us. And they're a group that actually hasn't spent a lot of time together. So the chance for them to actually grow and get better over the course of the season could be significant. DJ hasn't been there a long time. They've had injuries, guys coming in and out. So in some ways, they're a little bit unpredictable. But yeah, we've probably been in more of those games than we probably like, where you're trying to fight back at different times. And in the past, we've been lucky enough to get and finish in front of them. We've had a couple this season where we haven't. So we prefer not to put ourselves in that position.
I know the club's doesn't traditionally buy into any outside noise, anything like that. But just having a look around, really strong schedule coming up for the back end of the year, lots of home games, starts to talk about, Tasmania maybe being right there at the pointy end. Some of that talk about championships and winning it for the first time must seep into the group a little bit.
I don't think you'd be not a sports lover or a fan or a coach that you don't think, like, gee, I'd love to win a championship. Well, that's why we're all here. I don't think we're here just to make up the numbers. We've never been that type of club. We'll never be that type of club. But also, like, you don't get too far ahead. People talk about it. We all watch, keep our eye on the NBL stuff, and we love the league and all the banter that goes on within it. But when you come in here on the floor, you're not thinking too far past the next drill when Scott Roth's in charge. You can keep your eye on the ball.
What about monikers like team to beat and things like that, though? How does that sit with you?
Yeah, who's the team to beat?
Apparently you guys.
Right, well, let's hope we don't beat ourselves. That's probably a good start. But I think, 12, 13 games in, I think Melbourne United's probably, they've proven they're sitting on top. What are they, 10-2? So they're sitting up there. They're the team to beat. If you want to have that analogy, but they're probably sitting there trying to figure out, we've got to improve some things to beat these other teams. So it's too early in the season to really, take your eye off the ball and any of that stuff.
Will you be using tomorrow night then as an opportunity to make a statement and kind of set the tone for the rest of the season?
I wouldn't say it's I think everyone tries to do that. And I think I've talked about it in this. It's really hard to win one game. You go Adelaide, go to New Zealand. It's hard to win over there. New Zealand, I think, when they're trying to improve and get their season back on track, it's just hard to win one game. So I don't think tomorrow night will be any different. It's a big game just because it's another game. Every game's a big game. I only played 28 of them. It's not like EuroLeague or the NBA where you've got 82 games, or EuroLeague and those teams play 50, 60 games. We've got 28. You drop a couple, you can move up or down very quickly. So big game, none bigger than the one right in front of us.
Does the Jackie's, your previous track record against Adelaide, does that mean anything coming into the game, or is it just coming in with a fresh slate?
No, you come in with a fresh slate. I think the last time we played him, Trey Kell didn't play. Any given night he can be a 25-point scorer in the league. I don't think it matters too much. Obviously, you look back at the last game and the things you did well and the things that maybe you've struggled with against your opponent. But, it's been a while since we played him, so you just got to go back to square one and plan for right from the start.
Are you wary of a slow start? Have you talked really about, coming off a break? 36 have already played a game this week. You talked about making sure you don't get a slow start off the break?
Not really. I think traditionally we've had good starts. Like our numbers would say that we're a good starting team. That hasn't been any part of our language. And probably you can look at history and over the last 12 games and we've traditionally got pretty good starts. So I'd like to think that, can continue tomorrow night.
Similar sort of minutes for Mags tomorrow night, or an increase, maybe even move into the starting five, or same as before?
No, I think our starters will be the same. Haven't really changed too much from that. I think probably the narrative will be the same for the most of the season. Mags could start, Marcus could start, depending on matchups, and then they'll both play roughly around 15 minutes, and then who's in form on the night. And I think that's the great thing. That is definitely what we've seen at practice this last 7 days. That everything has gone up a level because those two guys are in there competing, and they're competing for minutes as well. You have those internal, tests, if you want for a better word. I'm sure it's right through it. Anthony Drimmick and Clint Steindl, everyone's hunting minutes, but it's in a good, healthy way. And if you've got upward pressure on your group, then we should improve.
It's surprising how well Mags has come back in. We saw him dominate a game a few weeks ago, and every game he seems like he's doing his bit for the team. You'd be surprised at how well he's come back in.
Not really. When you see him working every day, and I think I've said in this forum a week ago that if you'd have been around him on a daily basis and the improvement that he has made with his skill development, his mindset is really clear. And I think just on the back of him being a professional, he had an outstanding performance. And he has a unique skill set that he's really good at and he works hard at. When he gets in the game, it just transfers. So it doesn't surprise me.